program. It's time for our one and only Kathleen. I should have a whole bio thing here, don't I? Kathleen Lowndes. Her talk, Earth's Evolving Energy. We've always lived in creator soup. Be inspired to become and stay peaceful no matter what is happening. This talk includes practical ways to peacefully navigate those happenings. And her quotes today, God knows no evil. Ernest Holmes. If we can conceive only of a little good, that is as much as we can experience. Ernest Holmes again. If ye abide in me, Spirit, ask what ye will, and it shall be done unto you. And that's Yeshua ben Joseph, and quoted from Ernest Holmes. And Kathleen's affirmation today, the goodness and love in which I rest secure are steadfast and indestructible, making me feel safe. The goodness and love in which I rest secure are steadfast and indestructible, making me feel safe. And now, Kathleen.
Okay, let me get to sit up here. Oh, I did it right. Okay.
Just hold it down.
I'm so short, I need it. Oh, down even more?
Then we could see your face.
Oh.
Beautiful.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay.
Awesome.
Hi out there in Zoom land. This is really neat. Clyde and I have been looking forward to this because we know a lot of you. I've known Frida for over 20 years. Clyde's known Joe for eons, sorry. He's known Brad for a bunch of years. And so for us to come here is in some way sort of like coming home. So this is the very first time that we're going to be working together. We're going to do the meditation together. Clyde's going to supply the music, and I'm going to supply the words. So I just want to say hi to all of you and everybody out in Zoom land, and that's what we're doing. So let's go to the meditation right now. You may close your eyes if you wish. Body, you may unwind. Body, it is safe to go limp. Body, breathe out tension. Body, breathe in calm. I give up my worries. I hand them over to Source. I give up all stress and stressors. Source, handle them for me. Thank you. I open my heart. I become conscious of the love I am made from. I have been like this my whole life. I am intimately connected to God love. I am love. Everything I express is divine. I have it in me to transform myself and the world from the inside out. I have it in me to act as a beacon of fearlessness and hope. I treasure myself. I am present. I am present with whatever is here now. I reveal heaven on earth. I am one with Spirit, one with God. When I am present with God, I can actually love my enemies. I love them now, and they are no longer enemies. To be present with God is the highest form of prayer. I am praying right here, right now. The only temptation is the temptation to leave the present moment. The only evil I have ever committed is not to be in the presence of God. When I am in the presence, I can't help but love everyone. When I am in the presence, I can't help but say the right thing to the right person. When I am in the presence, I can't help but be in the right place at the right time. Doors open. I now store all these positive affirmations in my subconscious memory bank. They are there, ready for me to scroll up, ready for me to use at a moment's notice. I think those thoughts I want to manifest in my life. I am more and more open to receive and act upon divine ideas that come to me. I am refreshed. I stir in my seat. I gently move my head from side to side. I slowly open my eyes. I yawn. I feel a warm cloth graze my face. I am radiant with love. I look around and smile. My mask hides the smile, but the smile is clever. It shows itself as the twinkle in my eyes. I am fully awake. Feel better?
Yeah.
Ready for the talk? Let me call your attention to the plant right down here. It's a humble sweet potato vine. If you're attracted to the plant, I suggest that you gaze at it during the talk. Let's go to the talk now. But before we begin, I have a confession to make. I wrote this talk as much for me as I did for you. You see, I'm part human too, just like you. And the human part of us, the human parts of me, gets derailed. Then we have to get back on track one more time. So we're all in the same boat. We're all in this together. Now we can begin. It is time for every seeker to become a finder. Or, if you lean toward Christianity, the sentence goes like this: it is time for every Christian to become a Christ. This is not blasphemy, and it is not heresy. Allow me to explain by sharing parts of my own story. By listening between the lines, you may absorb information that could save your life one day. It's a story about belief. I'm talking about leaping or graduating from having a belief to living that belief. Not merely to believe in God, but to know God. I didn't always know how to plug in, tap into, connect to divine source. It's something I learned from directly experiencing a life-death medical adventure, brain stem surgery. Surgery on that part of the brain that controls automatic breathing and automatic heartbeat. That part of the brain that no brain surgeon would operate on. But I found one surgeon, and one was all I needed. Bear with me, please, thank you. Now, here's my disclaimer. Don't go out and get sick just to prove anything. Continue to take care of yourself. I risked becoming just somewhat like my special education students. The whole secret, and those students could not walk, talk, or think. So that was the prognosis, and here I am, talking to you about science of mind principles that really work. The whole secret to survival, in my case, was to become plugged into divine source long enough to get through the surgery, and then again, long enough to sporadically heal from the surgery. It took years to get better because I did it with no medication, only mind over matter. I had a point to prove. Only being plugged into divine source. This was just my own personal way of doing it. I spent a lot of years alone at my humble desert house on a dirt road. There were times when the thought flashed across my mind, why is this recovery taking so long? It's like being locked away. It's like solitary confinement. Is there a purpose to it? On one occasion, I even queried, is this preparation for something? And now I know. I was learning how to plug into divine source. I was learning how to feel the presence of the present moment. There's nothing like illness to teach that one. So I learned a lot about getting into the presence and staying in the presence until somehow fell out of it and had to get back on track. I learned about getting back on track. But before I did that, I thought about what this reality called the presence really was. It has many names. See if the name you call it by is on this list. Here's the list. Mind over matter. Tapped in, tuned in, plugged in. Connected to Creator. Being centered. Quiet time. Peace of mind. Being in the energy of love. Taking the high road. Habitual serenity. The now moment. The realms of bliss. Nirvana. Being connected to divine source. Being connected to spirit. Feeling unconditional love. Knowing the peace that passes understanding. Do you refer to it by one of these names? Labels? Combining some of these phrases, the present moment rejects the past and the future and focuses on just the now. What does the present moment feel like? It feels like unconditional love, like an upside down sleeping bag of loving warmth descending over head and shoulders, and a warmth in the heart area. That's how I say the Pledge of Allegiance. It feels like wearing love, like a warm coat. You've felt it. You were born feeling it. With the physical sensation comes the psychological sensation of I can do no wrong. I know everything I need to know. You know, all those things that meditation helps us feel. Why is this sensation of inner peace important? Because it's the secret to life. This is the greatest truth I have ever learned in my life. It drives everything in life. It's the secret to manifesting, and I didn't learn it from a book. I learned quite by accident through facing the possibility of death. It goes like this. When I am in the presence that is connected to the divine source, wearing love like a warm coat, etc., that's when all the magic happens. In that state of heart and mind, whatever I think comes true. Whatever I speak forth comes true. That's why I quoted the quote, "If ye abide in me, spirit, ask what ye will, This is in 16-point print and I'm still having trouble with it. My eyes are just going like this. But I can read. That's why I quoted the quote, "If ye abide in me, ask what ye will, and it will be done unto ye." Ernest Holmes quoted this quote by Yeshua. Also, Ernest Holmes went to great lengths to make sure we understood that the me in "if ye abide in me" does not refer to any historical person. It refers to spirit, the presence. If ye abide in the presence, in the spirit, ask what ye will, and it shall be done to ye. I know this to be true. I used it in the ICU, the rehab hospitals, and after I returned home to recover. The recovery took years, but there were 3 occasions during the first year of recovery when I got completely better for various blocks of time, as though the surgery had never happened. These are explained in the book I wrote. I feel like a musician who needs a page turner anyway. So this begs the question, how is it possible to enter into the presence and stay there? There are, of course, many ways. Many of you could probably teach me things I have not discovered yet about this topic. However, I'm only going to talk about a few of these ways, the ones that are familiar to me, ways to enter into the presence and stay there. Number 1, I'll talk about gazing first, just because we already have a plant in the room, an object upon which we may focus. It's called gazing. Gazing is used to become calm, soothed, peaceful. Here's what it is and why it works for some people. You have to try it to see whether it works for you. Immersing oneself in nature works because all of nature is already existing in the presence of unconditional love. That's what the word natural means. And when we join in by gazing, we also feel that wonderful feeling. It happens every time We gaze at a natural object, a plant, a flower, a wild animal, a pet. This is why people have pets. All natural objects are connected to divine source, and so am I when I gaze upon them. Are you thinking, will this work with a rock? Try it, let me know. It doesn't matter if it is a humble plant, such as this sweet potato vine. It is part of nature and can capture our attention just as well as any part of nature can. In Norway, gazing is called krogluft. In Japan, it's called irigawa. Someone told me, I don't know about this, but someone told me it is a Buddhist activity, a precursor to meditation. And I think that's true because many years ago, when I first came home from the hospital, I gazed at the white wall in my living room all day long because I was only capable of sitting and staring ahead all day long. Soon after this, I automatically fell into what I now call meditation. And that's how I wrote my first speech, which I delivered in this very room about, how long ago, Joe? 14?
At least.
14 years ago or so. Okay, that finishes with gazing. Humming. My doctor had, just like it sounds, my doctor had me read a book about the vagus nerve. I understand that the vagus nerve connects the gut to the brain and the heart, but Dr. Chuck Greenwood would know that better than I. What I remember from the book is one practical way to access the peace that passes understanding, because somehow it activates the vagus nerve, and that's what causes an individual to pop into the peace, the inner peace. That way is to hum. The book claims that humming works even better than singing. I use it a lot, but I also use singing. So if you hum while doing your housework or riding your horse, the chances are really good that you're feeling inner peace. Try it. You'll never know whether it will work for you until you try it. Number 3, forgiveness. It's never a matter of forgiving the other person. They haven't done anything wrong that requires me to forgive them. They simply have a different perception because they have had a different set of experiences. Okay, I found it. They have had a different set of experiences than I have had. In the days before I figured this out, I would judge the behavior of others as wrong or bad. And even now I derail and judge. But now I catch myself doing it, I've actually come that far. So it's never a matter of forgiving the other person. It's a matter of forgiving myself for having judged that person. Simple words work. I forgive myself for having judged blah, blah, blah. Then I'm back on track. And guess what? I'm feeling the presence again. I'm tapped in. Peace. Forgiveness works. So I've expanded this. On nights when I'm not too tired at bedtime, I say, I forgive myself for anything I might have thought, said, or done today that made someone else less than the capable of anything person they really are. Please read the sign over here. Thank you, Kathleen. The sign is going out into Zoom land right now.
It is.
It says, if my memory is correct, you are capable of more than you may know. And that's a direct quote from Linda, not Linda, Glinda, what a name, Glinda, the Good Witch. So even witches are good. So back to the thing that I say every night when I'm not too tired to say it. I forgive myself for anything I might have said or done today that made someone, anyone, feel less than the capable of anything person they really are. In other words, I clear the board of many people. It's my other confession. I clear the board of many people with only one sentence. Pretty sneaky, huh? Prayer. We all know how effective prayer is, how it works, and why it works. So I'm going to use this opportunity to thank all of you for something I wanted to thank you for a year and a half ago. In late February 2020, I had both oral surgery and dental surgery in the same sitting. Normally, these two surgeries would not be back to back, but separated by weeks. Before the surgery, Brad, your own Brad Allen, got me on the prayer line at this center. I knew there were many people praying for me. And that was probably a good thing, because I was not put to sleep for the surgery. 8 teeth were pulled. It was a good dentist. He left just the ones that I needed for smiling and chewing. 8 teeth were pulled, and the roots of each of the remaining teeth were deep cleaned, and I won't tell you how it's done. It's gross. After the surgery, I walked out of the dental office on my own 2 feet. There was no pain, no bleeding, no dizziness. The doctor was astounded. It was almost as though the surgery had not taken place. But then you were praying for me, and I believe I was placed in the divine presence during the procedure. Thank you very much if you were one of those praying for me. However, this dental procedure was not the first time prayer had worked its magic for me. When I had the brainstem surgery, 60 people were praying for me daily. I belonged to a little spiritual group, kind of like this, and they all got on it. I made use of the Science of Mind teleprayer, which was at that time located in Burbank, California. Do you still have something like that? Is it still in Burbank?
I don't know.
Okay. You do it yourselves, that's even better. And we all know what happened that time. Other examples of how to invoke the divine presence include gratitude, reconciling the past, one pile thinking, recognizing your own power, value, and immortality, meditation, beauty, that's what the Celestine prophecy was all about, and see only the good. Since time does not allow us to go deeply into all of these ways, we'll focus on the last one that's included in this talk, which is see only the good. Seeing only the good automatically connects us with divine source, and we wear love like a fur coat, fake or real. Ernest Holmes talks a lot about good. Ernest Holmes talks a lot about good and goodness. Thank goodness, pun intended, the Science of Mind book has an index. Okay, so you can look up anything you want to. And that's why I put the page numbers next to each of my quotes to make it really easy for you in the event that you felt nudged to look that up and read further about it. One of the entries is, in the index, God knows no evil. In other words, there is only good. Therefore, there's no need to be hard on ourselves, is there? I took this one to heart. On page 313 of my book, I wrote, and I'm going to read this to you because it's a good example of this point. Okay, I think I want to just I was so excited that I was able to discover the beneficial side of my fears, that I continued to view life from a new perspective. One of these ways was to see the value in my faults. You know, they're not really faults, but the culture calls them faults. I saw that the attributes which others had criticized in me were the very ones that had contributed to my unbelievable medical outcome. And I list 5 of them. I'm only going to read one of them to you because of the constraints of time. It's called strong-willed. I imagine I got to be strong-willed because I was rebelling. Because I was rebelling against being forced to think, feel, and behave in ways that suited others better than those ways suited me. My rebellion had made me excessively independent and a strong-willed child. And you know, there are a whole bunch of books out there that teach parents how to crush the strong-willed child. Yeah. Maybe you were a strong-willed child too. We meet again. I had to have my way. Therefore, I was labeled selfish and uncooperative. Observers must have wondered how I would ever get along with others or fit into a group. I had too much willpower as a strong-willed individual. But when it came time for the surgery, I needed that willpower to survive and thrive. It overpowered my fears and went hand in hand with my stubbornness. It was a big part of my vigorous determination. And the last example of seeing the good is the dedication. I'm so proud of this because it means that I went a certain distance, and I'm really proud of that. Here's the dedication. Look for the meat in it. This book is dedicated to my late mother, Lottie Lowndes. You gifted me the genetic tendency which made possible the grand adventure of brain stem surgery. It has opened the door to life. Thank you, Mom. And I also dedicate this book to each one of you who reads it. May you gain fulfillment in your own individual way. So you better hurry up and read it so you can tell your family and friends that a book has been dedicated to you. The book is free. I have donated copies to this center. There are books here for you to take underneath the plaque. And if you're going to stay for lunch, I'll be in the social hall during lunch at a table with more books that you can take. Come talk to me about anything. I'd like to leave you with more questions than answers, to inspire you to develop your own way, your own answers, your own empire of dreams. There's not a religion or a thought system that I've ever encountered that does not include inner peace if you get deep enough into it. An example of this concept involves, of all things, housewives in Italy. After they get the kids off to school and the husband off to his job, what do? They walk down to the local cathedral to sit in the silence, to absorb the peace. Inner peace feels so good. Sounds like meditation, doesn't it? One more thought. Ernest Holmes says that there is only goodness. Evil doesn't even exist. He qualifies it by saying that we can only experience as much goodness as we can conceive. And in New Thought, we are trained to conceive a whole bunch. In other words, think big, dream big. As Ernest Holmes describes the law, the law can do anything for us that we can conceive of it doing. It can arrange for any outcome that can be conceived, no matter how big. It seems to me from observation and personal experience that the law will do its part, arrange for the preferential outcome much more quickly when I do my part, live in the presence, sometimes almost instantaneously. This is the most powerful thing in the universe. It works, no exceptions. Use it. Use it on everything. A lost job is a door opening elsewhere. So is lost health, a lost relationship, a lost friendship, lost possessions. Did losses ever help you discover you had skills you never thought you had? The earth is evolving, and we along with it. Enjoy the ride. It's becoming easier and easier to spend time in the presence. Easier to get into the presence, easier to stay in the presence. Have you noticed? In my personal opinion, and this is only what it is, an opinion, everything in your life, in my life, is going to be all right, all goodness. Never forget that goodness and love are indestructible because the law has their back. It guarantees their existence, and the law is immutable. I invite you to join me to hold that feeling, the feeling of divine presence, because it unlocks all the goodness in life, right here, right now. Showers of blessings upon each one of you for every moment of your very important life.